Blessed be everybody, it's time for another major astrological transit examination, and in this video we are doing a deep dive into the lunar eclipse full moon in Scorpio at 14/15 degrees. It's actually right there, making a move from one to the other on May 5th, 2023, and we're going to be talking about its chief effects and influence that it's going to have on each and all of us in our own way through the beginnings of August 2023. Full moon lunar eclipses, of course, last a good while in their influence. A lot of astrologers say 6 months, and they're right, but the primary moves or the primary change always tends to happen within the first 3 months. And so that's really what we're covering the most in this video, because usually the back 6 months of that transit, all of the new stuff and all of the endings and new beginnings has already happened, and then the back end of that 6 months is usually just about integration. So we're focusing mostly on May 5th through August 5th, 2023. Because there are a few moving parts in this eclipse, we're going to take some time to examine and break them down and get them as clear as possible. And I'm also including chapters in this video for each sign, giving you an interpretation of what's going to happen in accordance with each sign's unique chart. So instead of having you just scroll to the down bar below and see what areas are coming in, I want you to scroll to the down bar below, but you're going to go to the chapter that speaks to the sign you want to look at, and remember to look at your ascendant, your rising sign. That's going to be really, really important here. Moving parts that are involved in this particular eclipse are, of course, the lunar eclipse itself, taking place at 14 to 15 degrees Scorpio. We've got the sun crossing 14 to 15 degrees Taurus. We've got Uranus in Taurus in the mix as well. And loosely, but still relevantly, we have Mars in Cancer. So there's going to be a lot to talk about here. If you ever want to get a session with me, you can always, of course, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, engagement helps this channel out a lot. So what is going on when it comes to this eclipse? Let's talk about it in the big form here in our first section, really breaking it down, and then you can go on ahead and see what's going on with each sign in the chapters below. So just a quick refresher, a full moon lunar eclipse is a full moon exponentially amplified, but the themes of the full moon are always the same: culminations, transitions, big bursts of energy, a zenith of power, and moving forward, right? A transition that is going to be taking place. And with the full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, this is especially potent because the sign of Scorpio is all about transition, crossing a threshold, crossing veils, right? It's death and rebirth. And with Uranus in the mix as well, in an opposition to this lunar eclipse, we are seeing this bringing an end to something that has been too wild, too chaotic, or too unstable to progress, which is why I've subtitled this eclipse The End of a Paralyzing Chaos. Now, that might sound kind of weird. How could chaos be paralyzing? How could instability be paralyzing? Everything is constantly moving all the time, right? There's constant activity. Well, the thing is, chaos can be stagnating. In fact, there are plenty of situations and plenty of circumstances where chaos is the reason something doesn't grow, something doesn't flourish, something doesn't advance, or something doesn't even have a chance at a quality of life. If you are a gardener or a farmer, then you understand that little baby plants do not do well in chaotic conditions where the nutrients from the soil or the quality of water or the sun or the elements or the weather themselves do not allow this thing to grow. Chaos can create paralysis. And so when we're looking at what's going on with this eclipse, we are being asked to pay very close attention to what parts of our life are not going forward because of another chaotic element in our space. What is too unstable, too volatile, too wild, too out of control, constantly disorganized, or maybe too easy to set off, to allow for any of the seeds that we're trying to plant to take any kind of root and really become what we intend them to be. This lunar eclipse is helping to get rid of all of those chaotic elements, as well as those chaotic influences, and bring a peace for things to finally grow. One of the big influencers in this is the Sun, conjunct Uranus, with this eclipse opposite Uranus. So Uranus, that is the planet of upheaval, revelation, inspiration, spontaneity, evolution, invention, experimentation, and innovation. And when it is in a dignified way, then it is working all for the good. However, if it is ill-dignified, such as in a situation like this with this opposition and the eclipse challenging it, then we see the chaos, we see the craziness, we see the disorganization, we see the mayhem. And with the Sun bringing attention, enhancement, support, and growth in a conjunction with Uranus, alongside this lunar eclipse enforcing a transition, we are seeing a parting of ways from a chaotic situation, a parting of ways from a chaotic influence, a chaotic presence, possibly a chaotic environment or chaotic person that is the reason that we might be getting blocked up, slowed up, or constantly forced to go back to the beginnings and try to replant the same seed over and over again. This is going to be having help because of Mars in Cancer. Mars will be at 21 degrees Cancer at this time, which is a very loose sextile, but it's really kind of more like help from the sidelines. And so with Mars bringing help from the sidelines, Mars being the planet of action, energy, obstacle clearing, passion, and even confrontation, this is going to be a time where a chaotic situation is also getting not only driven out, but replaced by some kind of asset that is either already in your space or an asset that will be coming into your space. Mars can often show up as help. You've probably heard me say in monthly astrology reports that this could be a friend, a champion to our cause, somebody who is going out of their way for us, somebody who is helping us fight our battles, somebody who is hooking us up. This can also be maybe a situation where this person or this influence is coming in and kind of doing the deeds that are necessary, but may also be in a situation where they are furthering the eclipse prerogative of ending the chaos. And in the beginnings of this, it could challenge us a little bit. Mars, again, is a planet of confrontation. And so we may have to rethink some of our own beliefs, our own codes, our own morals, our own values and attachments when it comes to the release of something chaotic that is not helping us at all. Something chaotic that we think we have to maybe finish, complete, remain loyal to, be an apologist for, or somehow take care of or maintain that we don't. And you can sometimes see this show up in this kind of transit where, you have the opportunity to escape a project, an investment, a professional loyalty, a social or personal loyalty to something that has been constantly an issue for you. But maybe you have been programmed, in a sense, to cover, to carry, to overcompensate, to stick it out where it is not good, where it is not equal, where you are not getting an equivalent exchange, right? Where is it you have picked up maybe a passenger or a problematic passenger in your journey versus a participant or a friend or an ally or a partner in whatever way. Mars is going to be illuminating that alongside the eclipse, the Sun, and Uranus. And through the course of May through August, we're seeing, again, a big shift away from holding on to some kind of attachment, loyalty, or obligation that begets more chaos, and getting on into a space where we are able to flourish and freedom from paralyzing, chaotic influences. So with that all said, let's have a look and see how this is going to show up for each sign, or what areas of life are going to be coming into primary focus for each sign. Aries, this lunar eclipse is going to be taking place in your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, self-employment earnings, supplemental income, investments, and monies that you may share with a partner, whether it's a business partner or partnership or a romantic partner. This is going to be opposite the Sun and Uranus in your 2nd house of earned income, employment, your values, and your valuables, and it's going to be lifted up by Mars in your 4th house of home and family, your roots, home economy, as well as allies and friends in your life that go back a long, long ways. With this lunar eclipse, we see the ending of some kind of entanglement, whether it be a debt, a contract, an investment that's gone sour, or some kind of financial involvement or entanglement that has been a huge burden on you. And this may have been something that was a decision that you agreed upon but you want to get out of. Because the opposition to the Sun and Uranus in your 2nd house of earned income, your employment, your values and valuables, this may have been something that you took on once upon a time or agreed to co-engineer or co-create as it relates to your own professional or financial path. But it is not serving, and it is maybe already turned on you or those involved. Luckily, with the help of Mars in the 4th house, most likely a shift in your home economy, or possibly something going on with the help of a family member or a very, very close friend or somebody from your roots, you are getting a chance to get out of it. Taurus, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your 7th house of partnerships, closest one-on-one connections. Your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, allies, or any kind of close one-on-one involvement that you have in any capacity. And so this is going to be also opposed to the Sun and Uranus in your 1st house and lifted up by Mars in your 3rd house. And some kind of commitment, some kind of agreement, or some kind of influence that is still lorded over you from a partnership or an alliance, present or past, is getting taken away and going away to your benefit. This can sometimes show up where a decision that was made that we had to live with because of a business partner or somebody that we used to be connected to, even old romantic partnerships, old business partnerships, old friendships, old joint matters, has still been an oppressive influence in our life in some way. However, there is a break. There is an elimination of this situation. And there is also going to be help coming from a helpful third party with Mars in the 3rd house, making it so. This could also be turning around a situation or finally getting something on the move that was held up because of this old affiliation or this old influence. Gemini, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, the people that you serve with, the services that you offer, and the people that you serve. And it's creating an opposition to the Sun and Uranus in your 12th house of your past, privacy, hidden zone, and unfinished business. And it is also being lifted up by Mars in your 2nd house of earned income, employment, your values, and your valuables. And so what we have here is the elimination of some kind of stagnant professional situation or financial situation. Somewhere where you have maybe been feeling like you are in a dead end when it comes to your own growth, your earning power, or progress towards a professional ambition or personal ambition of some kind. This can show up where something that was maybe put in place in the past, either by you or somebody in your industry, your field, your office, or maybe some old financial or professional decision, is up for elimination. And you've got Mars in your 2nd house with help coming to you, where you are now getting a chance to change roads, change paths, professionally and financially, in order to earn more and work with and for the people you wish to work with and for. This is also going to give you a chance to come out of a situation where you have been obscured, isolated, not able to even be seen or witnessed doing the things that you want to do, whether this is giving you a chance to maybe finally grasp opportunities you've been passed over for, or even get out of a situation professionally or personally where you have not been able to even go where the action is. Cancer, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your fifth house of romance, creativity, recreation, as well as your relationships with your kids. And it's creating an opposition to the Sun and Uranus in your 11th house of friendships, social networking, and your loftiest goals. And it's being lifted up by Mars in your sign. And with this transition, we are seeing maybe one, maybe more personal relationships go through some major transition points as it relates to romantic partnerships, creative collaborations, and your relationships with your kids because of a change of community, environment, and surrounding influences and inputs. Some of you may find that you and a partner, or maybe you and one of your children, are finding a new place to call home in the world. Some of you may be finding that a trend or a way of carrying on a relationship is going away because we are getting a chance to walk away from environmental influences that have been maybe reinforcing a quality of life or lifestyle we do not want. And we are also getting a chance to end some kind of repetitious cycle that has been playing out in our love lives or as it relates to a creative pursuit or our relationships with our kids. For those of you who are single or are looking for new romantic partners, you are going to find that this is going to allow you to meet a brand new person from a social space or a social environment that is much more true to you. This is going to be a situation where you are noticing all of your personal relationships, platonic, romantic, family, or again, parenthood, all of that up for massive reevaluations in how they function and how they perform, but in ways where they are much more true to the characters of all involved, and letting go of a lot of old patterns, scripts, routines, and functions that maybe had us all behaving as people we were not. Leo, this lunar eclipse full moon is taking place in your fourth house of home and family. It's going to be opposite the Sun and Uranus in your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, station, and promotions. And it's going to be lifted up by Mars in your 12th house of your past, privacy, hidden zone, and unfinished business. Now, quick heads up. Whenever you have a full moon lunar eclipse in your fourth house of home and family, a lot of you may be getting ready to get on the move. For those of you who've been watching me for a while, if you recall, between the years 2014 and 2018, I was moving around a lot. Well, guess what? I had a lunar eclipse in my fourth house every single one of those years. Doesn't mean all of you are going to be uprooted during this period, but some of you may be finding you are moving about quite a bit during this time. A full moon lunar eclipse in the fourth house, however, also is going to be eliminating something from our life that has been with us from our roots, something that could be a negative influence that has been maybe a family curse, something that could also be a bad influence on our home economy, or something that has been creating environmental problems around us in that way. And what's going to happen here is with the elimination of that, we are getting a chance to hit a new stride in our career, our performance, our earning power, and our household economy. And you're also going to find with Mars in your 12th house, you're going to be reunited with some kind of old path, old dream or ally, or even resource that you once walked away from or had taken away from you by either a family situation or a professional situation that is going to set you up to be living it quite nicely and going in a much more wealthy way as we go into the month of August. And so be prepared, your whole world, environment, professional, home life, social life, and even how you relate to your past is going to be in flux this next 3 months, but it's cleaning things up to set things right. Virgo, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your third house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, small contracts, as well as helpful third parties. And it's going to be opposite the Sun and Uranus in your ninth house of higher education, government legal proceedings, travel, culture, your reach, big contracts, as well as your spiritual path and practice. And it's going to be lifted up by Mars in your 11th house of friendships and social networking. So we're seeing there is some kind of containing element, something that has been keeping you trapped in a small pond that you have outgrown, finally getting eliminated. This could be a contract, a commitment, a covenant, or maybe an involvement that you have that has been keeping you in a space that has been paralyzing you. This could also be some kind of agreement or contract coming up for elimination because you are about to hit it big. You are getting a chance to finally go into the big leagues, find a bigger pond, a lake, or even an ocean to make a name for yourself in. And you're also getting a chance to leave a bubble that has maybe been keeping you obscured, keeping you from getting the recognition, the attention, and the support that you are looking for. You are also getting a chance to enjoy a bit of a 15 minutes of fame this next 3 months, starting on the 5th of May and going up until the beginning of August. But it doesn't have to last for just that long. You're also going to find that you may be given some kind of new power or resources over the course of this period to make an even bigger name for yourself, and you could be getting quite popular and also expanding your support system, your community as well. Libra, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your second house of earned income, employment, your values, and your valuables. And it's creating an opposition to the Sun and Uranus in your eighth house of shared resources, passive income, as well as intimacy, self-employment earnings, as well as any kind of supplemental income, as well as income that you may share with partners, whether they be business partnerships or allies or romantic partners. And it's also being lifted up by Mars in your 10th house of career, upward mobility, your status, your station, promotions, and raises. And a lot of you Libra people may be changing professional tracks during this 3-month period. You may be moving on to a new role or even a new job or employment situation that is a promotion in and of itself. You are walking away from a situation that may seem like a financial or professional dead end, or it may be revealed that you've been on such a path, but now you are getting a chance to break off and go into a much more lucrative way. This can also indicate the elimination of some kind of burden or financial obligation because of the newfound wealth and resources and boost in your status is making it just nothing for you to finally tackle it and get rid of it once and for all. Scorpio, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your first house. So this is going to be all about you, your personal story, your personal journey, your personal growth, and it's lighting up all areas of your life at the same time. Whenever we have a transit occur in our first house, it does distribute its energy throughout all of the other houses of our zodiac as well. And this is creating an opposition to the Sun and Uranus in your 7th house of partnerships, closest one-on-one connections, present and past. So this is your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all of the people you have your closest one-on-one alliances and involvements with. And it's being lifted up by Mars in your 9th house of higher education, government legal proceedings, travel, big contracts, your spiritual path and practice, culture, your reach, and your influence. And this transit is helping you to break away from something that was brought forth into being by another person. This could be a decision that was once made by an old business partner, an old financial involvement, or maybe even an old relationship or old marriage situation. Anything where you have been basically made to carry on with the decision that somebody else has made, or had to maybe deal with the influence of another person that has been oppressive, chaotic, chaotic or maybe even sabotaging in some way to you or your growth in any area of your life is dissipating. With this lunar eclipse in your first house, be prepared for a major change in your own life direction, as it is going to be closing up a lot of stories, a lot of threads, and a lot of timelines created by this other person. Whether this is an old friend that might not be a friend anymore, an old romantic or marital situation, an old business involvement, or maybe an old decision made in the past by another person that had way too strong of a hold or influence over you and your goings on. Mars in your 9th house is going to be bringing a champion to help lift you up in this area, somebody who has an enormous amount of power and resources at their disposal, and they may either be replacing that influence or maybe just simply coming in to further its elimination from your life. And this person could be a known, helpful influence and ally, or maybe somebody new. Sagittarius, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your 12th house of your past, privacy, and hidden zone, unfinished business, anything going back to the past or working behind the scenes. And this is going to be creating an opposition to the Sun and Uranus in your 6th house of work, your reputation, your schedule, the people that you serve with, the teams that you're on, as well as the people that you serve and the services that you offer. And it's also being lifted up by Mars in your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, supplemental income, self-employment earnings, as well as anyone you may share financial interests with, such as a business partner or a romantic partner. This lunar eclipse is eliminating a very old story or eliminating old business and ripping something out of your life that you need to be over, but you might not think that you're ready to be over or call it quits with. This is the end of a situation that does not need any kind of formal resolution, but has been continuing to operate almost like a ghost that won't move on. And this is going to help you with some kind of financial or professional big break that is just waiting for you. This could be helping you to get out of a stuck situation or out of some kind of looping circumstance as it relates to your social life and your professional life. And Mars in your 8th house is also going to be lifting you up by funneling some kind of new resource in vast quantities to make it all the more comfortable and all the more expedient. Capricorn, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your 11th house of friendships and social networking, your platonic support system, the guys, the girls, as well as your loftiest goals and ambitions. And it's creating an opposition to the Sun and Uranus in your 5th house of romance, creativity, recreation, and your relationships with your kids. And it's being lifted up by Mars in Cancer, your 7th house of partnerships and closest one-on-one connections. This is your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, business partner, husband, wife, roommate, all the people you have your closest one-on-one alliances and involvements with. And we see the elimination of some kind of caustic liability that has maybe been existing in our social environment for some time. This could be somebody that's not really a friend, but they're a part of our community. This could be a group. This could be a group identification. This could even be a situation where you or maybe your kids, your love life, or a very important creative or professional pursuit of yours has been suffering the collateral damage of the choices of those in our environment. With this lunar eclipse, the causes of that collateral damage are getting eliminated. And these could be people at the office, these could be family members, these could be people in our neighborhood, in our community, in our industry, whatever is going on there. But there is a focus on cleanup and a reversal of everything that maybe has been imposed upon us by the environment. And a lot of this is also going to get supported by that Mars in the 7th house. Somebody that you consider to be a very, very close friend, a BFF quality friend, a romantic partner, or spouse, or business partner, or ally will be stepping forward to ensure this has a successful completion. Aquarius, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your 10th house of promotions, career, status, station, raises, and prestige. And it's going to be creating an opposition to the Sun and Uranus in your 4th house of home and family, your roots, home economy, as well as anyone that you consider to be family, people who are that close and tight, and matters of the past as it relates to the family. And it's also going to be lifted up by the Mars in Cancer transit of your 6th house of work, reputation, your schedule, as well as the teams that you're on, the communities that you serve with, and the people that you serve and the services that you offer. With a lunar eclipse in the 10th house, it's all about big level ups, big career transitions that spell, yes, big promotions and raises and new stature for you. However, there could be a rather interesting clash when it comes to eliminating or confronting the legacies or the decisions made by people in our past as it relates to family matters. You are moving on up, but it may require you to end something that was started in your past, most likely something relating to a family matter, a family curse, the sins of the fathers, sins of the mothers kind of situations, or possibly some kind of old household or financial matter that has stuck with you up until this day. As this growth spurt of yours shakes your roots, don't worry, you will not be left alone. A champion to your cause will also be coming to help you make sure this works and sticks, and you are emerging victorious with the help of that Mars in your 6th house. Pisces, this lunar eclipse is taking place in your 9th house of higher education, government legal proceedings, travel, as well as culture, your spiritual path and practice, big contracts, big covenants, as well as your reach, your territory, your influence, and even to a certain degree your own popularity. And it's creating an opposition to the Sun and Uranus in your 3rd house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, personal contracts and covenants, as well as your peer group and third parties. It's going to be lifted up by Mars in your 5th house of romance, love, creativity, recreation, anything that you are trying to birth into this world, as well as your relationships with your kids. When we have a lunar eclipse in the 9th house, it is the elimination of some kind of interference or some kind of suppressing or containing influence that has been keeping us, a project or a pursuit, from being able to grow or being able to finally hit its proper stride. You are getting a chance to be lifted out of a bubble or out of a space where you have been trapped for a long while. However, this will come with the elimination of a lot of interference as well. Old contracts and covenants getting torn up, as well as possibly even a thinning of the herd as it relates to your peer group and the elimination of some not so great influences as far as collaborators or third parties or people in our community that are actually working against us while not actually outwardly just demonstrating it until, we reflect on it. When we have this occur, it's important to let yourself be moved across the proverbial tracks to the nicer neighborhood where the grass truly is greener, and allow yourself to be taken out of these bubbles. Again, you will not be going it alone. Mars in the 5th house is also indicating some kind of help is coming to you, whether this is a close friend, a creative collaborator, somebody who is working with you on an important pursuit, a lover or love interest, or yes, even one of your kids is also going to be making this all the easier and helping you fight these battles every step of the way. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.